Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 632 days, Ukraine defends itself against the forces of the Russian invasion. Ukraine's Air Force managed to down 29 out of 38 Shahed drones launched by Russian forces against Ukraine in several waves over the night. Also, several lengthy air raid alarms were launched yesterday during the day due to flights of Russian MiG-31K fighter jets. These planes carry supersonic missiles that can reach targets all over Ukraine in a very short time. Thus, whenever these jets take off, the alarm is sounded all over the country, stopping public transport and many businesses. Lately, these flights take place more often and last longer, but do not end with an attack. Ukrainian social media users started to discuss that perhaps the authorities should either cancel alarms when these planes fly or introduce different levels of threat so that businesses can continue to work during these flights. In his evening video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky addressed this issue, saying that he instructed the Ministry of Defense and the General Staff to reassess the threat from these flights. Quote, "Our air defense capabilities and overall readiness for missile threats allow us to modernize our response somewhat, without unnecessary interruptions to the country. This is important for millions of our people." Volodymyr Zelensky informed that he held a staff meeting with a detailed report from the Ministry of Defense on the upcoming year. They focused on the provision of defense forces, ammunition, weapons, equipment, and accoutrement. The president stressed that Ukraine is working on its own production of weapons and ammunition, including its own missile program. Zelensky added that Ukraine is partnering with the United States on joint arms production. In particular, in December, a special conference involving Ukrainian and American industries will take place. According to the statement of the spokeswoman of the National Security Council of the White House, Adrienne Watson, a two-day Ukrainian-American conference will be held on December 6th and 7th in Washington, reports European Pravda. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Dutch government has allocated an additional €2 billion for military assistance to Ukraine in 2024, reports Militarny. Dutch Defense Minister Kajsa Ollongren said that this decision means that support for Ukraine in the war against Russia remains unwavering. These funds are part of a broader aid package that the Netherlands will provide to Ukraine next year, which includes an initial €102 million for reconstruction and humanitarian aid. At the same time, Finland has approved the 20th military aid package for Ukraine worth approximately €100 million, reports Deutsche Welle. Bloomberg believes that the approval of new US aid to Ukraine may be delayed until mid-December or even longer, reports Ukrainska Pravda. This raises questions about Washington's ability to maintain the flow of arms, which both the Biden administration and the Ukrainian government consider vital. Ukraine's supporters in Congress are fighting an uphill battle over a large aid package that is not connected to binding bills that would prompt swift action. The earliest Congress can wrap up negotiations and pass new aid for Ukraine is mid-December, almost 2 months after President Joe Biden first requested $61 billion for Ukraine. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We are a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.